Guys, today we're going to set up our CodeCommit Git repository on AWS. So CodeCommit is a fully managed service. We don't have to manage the server, so all we do is set up the environment in order to handle and provide the Git solution for a version or source control. So in order to do that, we will first of all create the different users, which is the dev team, and create the repository. And after the repository created, the dev team will be able to push and do the different Git action to the repository branches. So in order to do that, we first of all go through the first step and we create our users via the console IAM. Once the user has been added, we put in his name and I'll say code commit, and we validate the access key and the password, and we validate him to the next tag and attach him a policy so as he will be able to access the different services. So he has all the right. He is now the code commit user will have the administration access, and once the user created, we obviously don't forget to download his credential, because it's with this credential that we'll be able to log in into his account. We can also send that via mail. So once we have the credential in Dex, we can view it and obviously use those credentials in order to log into the account. So this will redirect us to another account. We will use another page, so it's not with the root user that we will be creating the code commit repository, the Git repository with code commit. So we log in and we place the username, which is code commit user, which I previously put, and we use the password that is in the file. So we continue doing that and we will log in into the account. Once we place the correct password, user will obviously be logged in, and we will be creating him the different access. Make sure you use the correct credentials. So once the user created, we create a repository. The repository is created with the IAM user we just created, not with the root account. So we open a new tab, we logged in, and with the new user created, we go to code commit and we click on create a new repository. Ensure ourselves it is the correct user, because if it is a root user, we won't be able. So we give the repository name, I will say new repo, and we validate that. Once our repository is created, we have the different step and prerequisite in order to do the commit. So firstly, we need to have Git installed in a computer, and secondly, we need to clone the existing repository, which is obviously empty. So in order to clone the empty repo, we do the git clone followed by the URL, and we need to authenticate, but yet we haven't yet had the credentials in order to access the repo that has been created. So in order to have access to that repo, we are going to generate the git credential. So we go to IAM, I open that in a new tab, and from there we go down and generate the access. So here we see that we have created the users, we have created the repo, and now the developer teams need to have access to the git repository that have been created in order to push the code. So they'll be using a code in order, they'll be using credentials access in order to access the git repo. So let's generate the credentials that will enable the different members of the team to push code into the repo. So we first of all select the user to whom we are granting the access, and we go on security credentials, that is via the IAM dashboard, and we go down and we will see HTTP gate credentials for CodeCommit. Then we generate the access. Don't forget to download those credentials that we obviously use to do a different gate command. So once the access created, we will have that locally in our computer. We can open that and grab the username and the password. So let me get it in my local computer. CodeCommit credential, let me open that. I have my credential username, CodeCommit user. I copy everything. The username has the account attached to it, so it's unique, and I do a copy paste, enter, then I go for the password. So now once the password is being accepted, I have access to my repository, and I have cloned an empty repo. So my repository present in my local computer, I can now access it despite the fact that it is empty. And to access that repo, I will do a cd with the repository name. The repository name that we created was new repo, so we do that. We have access to our repo. Okay, so once we have a VS Code open, we are in a repo. We can add code, we can add files, we can add as many elements as we want, despite the fact that the element won't be present in the remote branch. And in order to add that to the remote branch, we are going to do check out to see on which branch we are. But here we have just one branch for the moment, and we can add the different code, commit it, then push the local branch to the remote branch. And from there, being on our local branch new repo, we do a git status to see what file have been added. Here we have an index.html, and in order to add that file, we do git add index.html. But in case we have many files, we can do and git add dot, so it will add everything. But here we did git add index.html to add the file. Then we continue by doing git commit in order to commit that, and we give a message, so it will like a signature. So every time we have the message, we know that this code added the role of these features, what happened, and it will allow us a traceability. Once the commit is done, the next step will be about doing a git push. So the code we have locally, in order for our remote branch on CodeCommit not to be empty, we'll be doing a git push origin master. And here we have the access credential that have been asked, the one we downloaded previously, in order to access the new repository. So once we will give this access to the prompt, it will push our code to the remote branch on AWS. So make sure you select the appropriate credential and you select the password. Note you can also configure, do with AWS configure, store this passphrase, so as you shouldn't be inserting it every time you want to do a push or a pull request. So now the file has been added. We go to AWS, we see we have our index.html present and it is on the master branch. So in case we are many developers in the team, let's say 10-20 working on similar project, we shouldn't push all the code to the master branch. So we will create our own branch with git checkout master, then we place the name of the branch which we are creating. In my case, I'll say features. Let's say we'll be developing a new feature from the main branch. So once the branch has been created, we will add a code, we will add context, we will add the different feature we are developing to our code, and it will be on a new branch. So here, let me create a feature.js. Let's say this developer will be working on a particular feature before pushing that to the new branch that has been created using git checkout stroke b followed by the name of the feature branch. And after that done, we can verify with git status to know on which branch we are. So git status give us the name of the branch we are on, branch master. Now we do git checkout and stroke b followed by the name of the branch. So once git checkout stroke b feature branch feature has been created and we have switched to that branch, we do a git add, because it will we first do a git status to see on which branch we are, and we are working on branch feature. And now we'll be doing a git add to add the existing content on which we are working for, the content that has been added, the different files to the branch locally, and we commit that with git commit. Then we put a message to the commit in order to have a traceability and know what has been done on the branch at which level. We have that done, and we will, the next stage after git add git commit, we do a git push. So here we have the different files. We have the feature, we have the index, we have the main. So let's just add some content in those files, and we have the visibility that we have content that has actually been added or been modified. So we, before we go for the git commit, okay, once that's done, we see that we have the file feature.js that has been modified, clearly written in red. So once the commit done, we can now push the content into our feature branch, and in order to push that to the feature branch, we do git push origin feature. Then we place the credentials, and it will give access to the git repository, and we will have our code locally. It will be on AWS on CodeCommit. So let me place the credential. Everything being uploaded successfully, and feature is now available. So while being on AWS, we refresh the page. You can allow it sometimes for everything to come, but we were not working on the master but on feature. You see, when we were on master, it was only index file that was there, but now on feature we have different file that has been added. So we create a pull request in order to merge the content of feature to master branch. So we give details about what the pull request is about. Is a feature that is being added to the main branch. Okay, once everything done correctly, we have the different files, we have the different changes that have been compared. We create the pull request, and we can see there is no conflict, everything being okay. Normally in a production we have many people. It's another senior developer that will be merging after verifying everything is correct, but here we are on the same account. We'll merge that, and we do a fast forward merge, and we enable the delete source branch feature that will delete the existing branch on which we were working. So once the merge is done, we don't need that branch one more. And if we need to work from the main branch with the features that has been added, with all the files that have been added, we will just do the checkout again from there, and we will be up to date to the latest version of the app being online, and we can see that everything was being done successfully. So recapitulations, this is what we did. We created the user, we created the repository, we did the checkout, we added it, and we have everything working. Code commit. So amazing. Thanks for being here. Wish you all a great day.